Man, Sonic Riders is such a good game, like seriously, this is some top tier stuff. And in today's video, I'm going to get into why I think this is not only the best way to make a Sonic racing game, but basically the best way to make a racing game in general. So, let's get on into it. I think the best place to start is to really just say that the gameplay is really peak. Because even simple stuff like turning, drifting, boosting, all of these things that are pretty much staple mechanics in any arcade racer feel exceptionally good here. I really love the drift in particular. It's just so smooth. The animation looks incredible, like gosh dang. And the fact that you can hit a boost midway through drifting is just a really sick feature that I'd like to see in more racing games. One thing that I really do love about the control in this game is that it feels like they found the perfect sweet spot gameplay-wise. Because a problem that I have with a lot of racing games is that they either give you too much control, you know, where you're expected to like shift gears and do other things, like these very realistic racers where there's tons of mechanics that make it just really bloated feeling. Then there's the other side of the spectrum where you don't have enough control and it doesn't feel like there's enough depth to the gameplay. For example, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But this game doesn't have this problem at all. They give you just enough control that it feels like a playground of possibilities, and there's different routes, different paths, tons of tricks to pull off. There just feels like there's so much depth, but it doesn't feel like it's overcomplicated or bloated. Now, one thing I just have to talk about for a little bit is the trick system, because oh my gosh, it is amazing. Being able to pull off that perfect trick and get the X rank is just beyond satisfying. It just feels amazing every single time. And I love how this trick system is kind of split into two parts. The first part is actually launching off of the trick ramp itself, which is its own challenge. Because if you actually want to get a good rank on your trick, well, you need to perform a charge jump. But you can't charge the jump for too long because then you'll lose a ton of speed and it just ends up not becoming worth it. And the second part is actually doing the tricks in the air. And essentially, you just rotate the analog stick in any direction that you'd like the character to start doing tricks towards, and that's it. Now, of course, to get a good rank, you need to land on the correct direction and do different tricks. You can't just push the stick in one direction and then just wait. My favorite thing about this trick system is the way these two parts interconnect, because depending on how charged your jump was on the trick ramp determines how fast your tricks can be performed. For example, here's a slightly charged jump, and here's a fully charged jump. You can already tell it's basically impossible to get an X rank with that low charged jump. And so that's what I love about it. It's not just about performing tricks, you also have to set yourself up to perform those tricks as well. Which essentially means that you can't fail one part of the process to get the X rank, which really makes that X rank feel pretty deserved. And not only is it deserved, it feels like you have to actually make use of every mechanic in the game. You can't just cheese one part of the game. No, everything has to go together for you to get a good time. Nothing feels completely useless or completely overpowered. Every mechanic just feels perfectly balanced, and it's just so fun. But even saying all that, I still have some gripes with this game's gameplay. One complaint I do have is that the power characters feel really underwhelming sometimes. Like, yeah, they definitely have their own path, and it's not like you're gonna lose every race if you pick a power character, but like what the heck, it just simply is never as fun as the speed or flight characters. Now, I think every character type is fun, but I'm gonna be honest, the speed characters are definitely the best. Another thing I have to bring up to criticize is the grind rails. They're cool, right? But they're so flipping annoying, oh my gosh. Like seriously, it's flashy, and once you're actually on the rails, it's pretty fun, but dang it, I swear, why did they make getting on the rails so weird? You have to press jump, and then when you're kinda close to it, you press jump again. I don't know why. There's no indication of you to do this, and I literally had no clue until someone told me about it. What's good, gamers? It's Editing Me. I just came in to drop in and say that the tutorial actually tells you how to rail grind. I don't know how I didn't pick up on that, because I did watch it. Yeah, I'm just stupid. It's just really weird and doesn't make any sense, and it's definitely one of the things about this game that makes it not beginner friendly a lot of times. And honestly, this is one of those games where you really should just look everything up, like it's not a big deal. So if you ever plan on getting into this game, there's really just one big thing I can tell you. Don't go straight to the story mode. Please, just go to a normal race and just practice. Like, genuinely, I learned about 90% of this game's mechanics just by fumbling around in the normal race mode. So even if this game doesn't do a really good job of teaching you much, I do think playing the normal races is the intended way of learning it. My reasoning behind this is because in the menu for the game, story mode isn't the first thing listed. The normal race mode is. So I think they just intended you to go straight to a normal race and just try things out and then head into the story mode. So actually getting into this game's story mode, it's pretty good actually. The CGI featured in the story mode goes really hard actually. I love the visuals here. The animation bounces from being pretty good to alright in these cutscenes, so whatever. Now the story itself isn't really that great, but I still really like it. Not for the narrative itself actually, it's for the characters. Straight up, Sonic and the gang feel like they have so much personality here. It's pretty similar to Frontiers in a way, because the story in that game wasn't really that exceptional, but the characters were portrayed really well, so it was still fun to sit through. Sonic felt like a real guy in that game. He felt like a genuine dude looking out for his friends. But in this game, you know, it's not quite that serious. This game is definitely very goofy, and I love it for that. This straight up feels like the wild and wacky expressions from SA1 if they actually were done correctly. In SA1, it just looks cheap and bad, but here it looks really funny and expressive, and it's just cool, man. And there's actually a lot of really funny shots where I just like genuinely laughed, and I never do that at a Sonic game, dude. Like, I just don't. Like, usually the jokes never land, but dog, this got me cracking up. So yeah, the story mode in this game is really good, and it's one of the few times that I actually found a Sonic game really funny. And while you're playing through the story mode or through a normal race, you're gonna notice in the background you're gonna have some peak music playing. This soundtrack goes really hard, and I guess that's a given. I mean, it is a Sonic game, but yeah, this is one of my favorites. And the music just goes hand in hand with the levels, and it always nails the aesthetic of the stage perfectly. Most of the songs have a very electronic feeling, but it definitely can pull that away if it's needed. The choices of what instruments were used is definitely one of the best out of Sonic games. So yeah, this is the type of soundtrack that I'm not just like, yeah, it goes pretty hard, like, I'm actually saving this to my Spotify playlist, like, this is actually, I'm going to be listening to these very often is what I'm trying to get at, so they're definitely not just a one-time listen kind of thing. So there we have it. Man, I love Sonic Riders, and right now it is definitely one of, if not my favorite racing game of all time. But I'm saying all of this after only playing just Riders 1. Well, this game isn't just a standalone title, it also has a sequel. Zero Gravity is a game I'm definitely going to be checking out, and if you guys would like me to make a review on that game, please leave a comment down below. I'd be totally down if anyone wants it, but if no one wants it, then that's fine too. And so yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you all have a good day, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.